Well, I wasn't certain whether to say congratulations to you or to say good
I
luck.
wish you well.
Because you
Oh,
do know. Exactly,
exactly,
because I'm sure that you, of course, appreciate the amount of work that that lies ahead of you. You have spoken in the past about lifting 133 million Nigerians out of poverty. Even though some people will say that those figures were talking about people who are multidimensionally poor.
Sure.
So it is rather broad, so to speak. Do you have a category of, I mean, you've talked about hunger. I mean, those who are, facing, food shortages. But do you have a category of people, and have you been able to settle on a more definitive figure of the number of people whom you're targeting in the first phase of some of these your programs?
So that's been worked out now, but the very first thing which we are starting almost immediately is the verification of the social register. I'm sure for a couple of days and weeks, we've been going back and forth with the Nigerian Governors Forum and several other interested parties saying the social register is okay, it's not okay. The people who are truly poor are not on the list. There's some political influence to it and the rest of it. So we're going to first carry out a full verification of the social register to ensure that truly it's the poorest of the poor, those who deserve to be on that list, that are on that list. And then from there, we will now create the different beneficiaries category. So those who will be benefiting from the hunger intervention, the zero hunger intervention, those who will be benefiting from the educational intervention, those who will be benefiting from the skilled job and job opportunities. We'll also in the humanitarian sector be creating humanitarian jobs. So if you have followed or worked with some of these UN agencies and the rest of them, you see that they have short-term contracts for jobs. So if there's a humanitarian crisis at point A, they immediately hire both skilled and unskilled persons to go and handle different aspects of the humanitarian response in those locations. And so we'll be preparing a protocol that can easily give guidelines to those who will be hiring for 3 months, for 6 months, for 1 year, maximum 2 years on contract basis to go and attend. So all of those are ways in which we hope to really get the jobs out.
Yeah, I'm just wondering about that register. I know the governors did say, even at NEC, that it lacks integrity. They're not going to use it, so they discarded it. So are you saying that, you're going to use that same register yourself?
So, like I said, we are going to verify and update, and we're going to work with the governors so that they can own it. We're going to work with those at the local government so they can own it. One of the challenges which they raised was that they were not involved in the process of really getting the poorest of the poor. As a country, we have to have ownership of whatever data that we are bringing out from the grassroots. So the local government people must be involved, the governors must be involved, traditional rulers must be involved, and even the religious rulers should be involved. So we own this data to say, yes, indeed, these are poor people in our communities. We know them. These are human beings, not just numbers and names, but they are human beings. We can identify them, and this is what we believe we're comfortable working with.
Do we then expect that probably with time, maybe sooner rather than later, NEC will backtrack and say, okay, now we accept the register?
Once you work with them, they would accept it because it's their own product now.
Hello and welcome to the channel. Growing poverty necessitated the creation of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development by the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari on August 21, 2019. With the intention to lift over 100 million Nigerians out of poverty within 10 years. Despite initiating and adopting different programs, including the National Social Investment Programs NSIP, which housed the NPower, National Homegrown School Feeding Program, Conditional Cash Transfer, among others, monthly figures from the National Bureau of Statistics did not show any commendable progress in the former president's efforts in tackling poverty. Therefore, 2 months after assumption of office with his renewed hope agenda, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu appears determined to go extra miles in lifting Nigerians out of poverty, especially with the renaming of the ministry to Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. Speaking with Blueprint Weekend, a civil servant, Mr. Musa Badaru, said the immediate past Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Ajiya Sadiya Umar Farouk, kick-started many programs that the present minister should build upon. He said, all eyes will be on the new Minister of Humanitarian Affairs to lift millions of Nigerians from poverty. It is no longer news that millions of Nigerians are living in abject poverty because of one factor or the other, especially in the northern part of the country. The former minister, Sadiya Umar Farouk, did her best to lift Nigerians out of poverty through different programs within 4 years of the creation of the ministry. Therefore, Minister Edu has a work cut out for her. She must do her own part as more people are falling into poverty due to the fuel subsidy removal, inflation, and other factors. Many things have changed since the last administration, so expectations are high. The renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will only make sense when Nigerians start feeling the impact of positive policies. The new minister will be at the helm of affairs in renewing the hopes of Nigerians. She appears energetic and roaring to go, so Nigerians naturally have big expectations of her. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and please turn the notification bell on. Thank you. On his part, a social commentator and public affairs analyst, Michael Shiboeze, advised the new minister to consult her predecessor to be able to navigate many things and deliver on a mandate. He said, Edu, as a medical doctor, was appointed Commissioner of Health in Cross River State by the Ben Oyade administration and recorded remarkable changes in the health sector before the end of the administration. Even as a women leader of the APC, she is reputed to have mobilized women across the nation to vote massively for the present administration, hence the need by the president to compensate her with a ministerial appointment. As the saying goes, government is a continuum. Nobody knows it all. That's why we always need to ask questions, especially from our superiors. I will advise and expect the new minister to reach out to her predecessor for advice on how to overcome the many challenges she is bound to encounter in the discharge of her duties because the former minister stayed there for almost 4 years. She should swallow her pride and not leave anything to chance. In Nigeria, the northern part of the country has more people, and the minister is from the south, so she should reach out and ask questions and seek counsel because she is new in the terrain and needs to be guided.